Good morning. We have made it to Helsinki, Finland, and we are about to jump on a free walking tour, as we do when we normally start these things. One of the reasons why we're excited to be here in Finland is that I'm actually 5 generations out of Finland, thanks to my great-great-grandfather, William Ahola. And he, along with his sisters, had fled this country to escape the Tsar of Russia from basically putting him into the Russian army. It's very fun to be here and to kind of be on his homeland and to then hear about the history of Finland and what they went through after the fact, and kind of
connecting dots.
What
it would have been like if we stayed.
Yeah. Kind of just, I mean, just after he left, to hear what the history of Finland went through, to see, being my age, what he would have probably been going through then during that time. Like, it's just so interesting to kind of connect those dots, as Chrissy said. So we're just excited to be here to experience another new country, and then for it to be Finland on top of that. It's just really exciting to be here.
Has a couple of little churches that you can go into. Behind us is the wooden church. It's Sunday today, so it's closed, but inside they say it's really quiet. You can really contemplate life, and it's got a lot of wood paneling on the side. It looks really nice.
We are on our second day here in Helsinki, and we have decided to head over to Suomenlinna Island. And the significance of this is Sweden had initially owned Finland, and they built up this island because of Russia. And Russia had what again?
Basically fortified St. Petersburg. And so Swedes were like, oh, well, if they're getting stronger, we need to get stronger. So they built this fort to protect them as a buffer between themselves and Russia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so basically after wars and getting to Russia, and then Finland going over to Russia, and so on and so forth, this fort has been built up and built down, and France bombed it in 1855 with some ships, and it's gone through all sorts of history. So it's just really fun to kind of walk around here and just experience the history of the island.
Behind me is the church and cathedral here on Suomenlinna. It was originally a Russian Orthodox church and is now converted to Lutheran. And on the top is the lighthouse for the island. So not only is this big old island really good for hiking and being in the ocean and swimming, but it also has multiple museums like the one behind me. There's probably 6 different museums you can go to if you feel up for it. We're just going to enjoy the beautiful day ourselves. Walking through the tunnels. What's kind of fun about this place is it's absolutely free to walk around in and walk through these tunnels. It just takes the cost of public transit to get here, which was €3 a person, pretty darn cheap. And that's from our house, not just the ferry. But yeah, on a hot summer day, this would be a great place to hang out. We've made it to the King's Gate, which is the farthest south thing to see. And now it's granola bar time. We get a treat for our hard work. One of the reasons this fortress was so important to Helsinki itself is that Helsinki was just a small town when this was built. And after Sweden lost Finland to Russia, Russia decided to move the capital from its current location to Helsinki, and they sunk a whole bunch of money into Helsinki and made it big and strong. And so without this fort here, without this getting built, Russia would never have made the capital here, and Helsinki probably would never be the beautiful city that it is. We're back. We were there for a good, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours, and it was a nice day, even if it was a little cold and windy. The sun's gone down, or at least behind the clouds, and it's gotten a lot more cold. We'll walk through the market square and then get our bus. Hey, that's hello in Finnish, which makes it super easy for us to remember. And then goodbye is hey hey. So I got this Finnish stuff down. Today is our last day to explore Helsinki, and right now you can see it's nice and beautiful and sunny, and it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. So today really is our last day to explore. We're basically going to walk around to all the random buildings that we didn't get to see because they're kind of out of the way, or they're kind of in a park or something like that. And so we're just going to explore the world. What's interesting about Helsinki and kind of fun is that since they don't have an old town, everywhere we go, we're not surrounded by tourists. The last places we've been staying are always in Old Town, and so it's geared toward tourism and that. But here in Helsinki, everything is more geared towards the citizens, so I feel more part of the community than just a typical tourist. Our first stop is Sibelius Park. It's named after Jean Sibelius, which is one of the best known composers here in Finland. He is known for creating the Finland identity, or at least helping create the Finland identity through his symphonies. One of them was called Finlandia, but whenever it was actually being played, it was never called that because the Russians didn't want anything Finland actually associated it, but everybody from Finland actually knew what it was. Behind me is a piece of artwork created in memorial to him. It looks like an organ, but it's not. It's supposed to represent nature and birch trees and the forest. Our second stop is the Temppeliaukion Church, also called the Rock Church. It was created in 1969 out of the pure bedrock in the area, and it was really neat inside. There's bedrock all around the edges, and bedrock allows water through, so there's grates on the bottom, so I'm sure in the spring it's very beautiful with water coming down. There's a little bit here, and then the top, the ceiling, is 22 kilometers of thin copper, and so it looks like you're looking at the rings of a tree or a wicker basket or something. It's very peaceful in there, very beautiful. It is a place of worship. People have weddings there and things, and I thought it was really cool architecture for the middle of a capital city. That market was not exactly what I was expecting. Usually expecting markets to be full of vendors selling things, and I would say half of this was, but majority of it was just cafes to get food and lunch and things like that. So I'm kind of a little disappointed I couldn't get some like reindeer meat, but plenty of fish and shrimp and things like that, if that's your bag. Alright, we found the icebreakers on the water. So Helsinki completely freezes over in the winter, and they need these big old icebreakers to break the ice so that cruise ships and things can get into port. We've finished our walk around Helsinki today. It was cold, but the sun was nice, and the sun stayed at the same like spot all day. So it kind of really messed up your mind because you think that it's 10 and it's actually 2. But if you live here, I'm sure you're used to it. We went to the grocery store and picked up some food for the next couple of days, but we also picked up salmiakki, which apparently is a licorice here. It's a salty licorice. I love black licorice. Do you like black licorice? You don't like it at all?
No.
So we're gonna see if this is any good. And if it's not any good, we're gonna leave it here for somebody else to try. It's a little bit hard. I can already feel it's a little bit of a hard licorice. Cheers.
Cheers. There's the salty.
Oh, it's just black licorice with a little bit of a thing to it. I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like toothpaste, but I think I definitely got the chewy stuff. If I grew up with this, I'm sure I would love it.
Good morning. We are making our way out of Helsinki and on to Savonlinna, which apparently is in the Lakes District of Finland. We're just going to spend just a quick 48 hours basically there, and then we'll be back to Helsinki and then off to our next destination, flying for the first time in a while. Looking forward to what we got going on next.
Savonlinna is definitely your resort town. So it is situated right in the middle of a bunch of different lakes. And then from here, you can go to Forest Museum, you can go to, there's a lot of churches, there's a lot of resorts, there's a lot of boating here, of course. We're here in October, so basically a lot of stuff is shut down, or if it is open, it closes at 3. So we're just going to enjoy the nature of the area. We just got attacked by a bunch of ducks. Either we're in the wrong place and they're about to literally attack us, or they think we're gonna give them food. Today is our second day and last day in Savonlinna. We're actually going to go to Lusto, where there is a forest museum, which people say is really cool. We have to be there for about 3.5 hours because the train schedule only has one train in and one train out. So we'll take our time and enjoy the forest museum. Here we are, we're in Lusto. Woo. All right, babe. What was your impression of the Forest Museum?
Overall, it was fine. There was an exhibit of a study about the forest industry from the 1970s that they were kind of showing some photos around about that, some just general technology stuff. So, I mean, there's kind of all sorts of information for whatever you're interested in.
Do you find that you respect forest people more now that you've seen more, or did you feel like you knew what you saw?
I generally had an understanding about how hard that industry is, so there's nothing incredibly surprising for myself. But I can also see where, as they mentioned also in the exhibit, about how people really didn't respect or understand exactly what they went through.
Do you recommend people go there if they're in the area?
Yes, I do recommend to come see this, at least for understanding a little bit more of the history of the industry, as well as some of the technology, which is really cool.
So this is our last night in Finland. I enjoyed Finland, but I don't feel like I was able to get as much out of it as I wanted, which is probably two reasons. One, we didn't really give ourselves enough time. We could have used some more time in Helsinki to actually see the museums. We spent more time outdoors, which in Helsinki, though, it's absolutely beautiful and has a lot of different characteristics of the architecture and things. Really, I think the museums is probably where it shines more, and we didn't get into any of them. We didn't even get into a church because they were closed. So other than going to that island, which was really cool, I don't feel like we got a lot out of it. And then right now we're in Savonlinna, which is a very beautiful area, but we're here in the off season, and so a lot of things are closed. We can't really get to where we need to be, and really you need a car. You need a rental car in this area because public transit's not going to get you where you need, and things close much earlier than you expect. So we were here for 2 days and we could only go to one place. So it's kind of a bummer. Finland, though, in general, I really liked. It could be because we are Minnesotan, and there's a big Finnish community in Minnesota. Everything around here, all the beautiful lakes and the birch trees, they're all very reminiscent of going up north and seeing your grandma. So it's lovely and it's fun, and if you had a boat, it'd be great. I did enjoy the interesting history of Finland. From coming up from the Baltics, we were hearing about all the history of, this country owned us, and then this country, and then this country, whereas Finland really had Sweden, Russia, themselves, a little bit of funkiness during the World War, but really they've only had themselves. And they also have a pretty decent working relationship with Russia, which is not something we've seen. So it's very interesting in that regard. And then also Finland, or at least Helsinki's not very old. So, we didn't see an old town. We didn't have all the historic lore. Like most countries, very proud of their traditions and their culture, such as the sauna culture, the food culture. I personally didn't feel like the Finnish people were shy. Like there's this stereotype that Finnish people don't want to be talked to, that they're quiet, that they're introverts, they're shy. But I don't think that of the introductions we had, I didn't think that people were like that at all. I think they were very kind and pleasing and wanted to help out.
I think overall it's just we need to give Finland another shake at a different time of year. Winter and not having a car is definitely not a good combination as far as coming to Finland. If you've got people here and you're able to do things outside of the city and able to get places without public transportation, I think that you're going to have a way better experience than what we've experienced.
Yeah,
and again, that's not on Finland. That was us being able to get around the way we did. And again, not giving enough time. So overall, what we did experience, it was wonderful. And I am excited to come back at some point.
Definitely have to go back to Finland again.